Seems more like it. Alright guys, we're gonna do a patch analysis of the new patch 6.86. So first one I do in Dota. I've done this in HON like 1 or 2 times. So I hope you guys enjoy. I'll try to give you as much insight and like theory crafting as I can. And I'll compare it a little bit to perhaps some changes or some things we had in HON. I'm Miracon. As my doggy has to be in my introduction here. You're a cutie. So you start off with saying that there's gonna be a new rune, map changes, 4 new items that I already looked at a little bit. Then you have 3 new heroes that are in Captain's mode, being Earth Spirit, Oracle, and Terrorblade. New neutral camps, a couple rework spells, being in Death Prophet Void, Riki, LD, and Doom, and this is where it all starts. So you have an arcane rune. It causes all spell cooldowns to be reduced by 30% and mana costs to be reduced by 50%. And it lasts for 50 seconds. Which, first of all, spell cooldown reduced by 30% is really high, and mana cost reduced by 50% is actually... These numbers are crazy. I'm not quite sure why they're adding this rune. It could be fun, it could be overpowered, but like imagine you go up against... Like let's say any hero that abuses spells gets this rune and goes to lane. He will shit on people, like really hard. Imagine like a Zeus with this rune. He will use spells so much like quicker, and he has half the mana cost, and it lasts for like nearly a minute. Creep bounty increased by 1 gold per normal upgrade cycle. So you get, every creep gives 1 bonus gold every 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Alright. Siege damage against heroes increased from 75% to 85%. Every hero has a base HP increase from 150 to 180. So every hero started with 150 and then you added the additional strength you had to ultimately give you your whole HP pool. So now you have 30 HP more. That's actually a significant, it's actually like a slight nerf to burst heroes, because they rely on killing you in an instant, but I don't think this will change much. Creeps now arrive slightly closer to the dire top tower and bottom radiant tower. So that means that's a nerf for the offlane, I assume, because the creeps for the safe lanes will arrive closer at their own tower. I would assume. Random draft. I don't know any of this, so I'm gonna skip this random draft. Added random draft to rank matchmaking. Random draft now uses the same picking phase. Centaur Cursor now has a stacking magic resistance aura. 20% for units, 5% for heroes. This is the small neutral from the Centaur camp. Hellbear now has a stacking magic resistance aura. 20% for units, 5% for heroes. This is also the small camp. The small creep in the neutral camp. Which means if you stack these camps and you get these creeps, you will actually have a really hard time killing them if you are a magic reliant hero to kill stacks. And I would assume most heroes kill stacks with magic damage at this point. And it says stacking magic resistance. I would assume that it stacks. So if you have a triple stack and you're unlucky and you get, you can get the same creep counts, right? But that's still, it could be like a 40%. And you can actually take these over and use them to push. It's actually not that bad. Okay, Dragonhide aura, stackable armor increased from 2 to 3. Ancient dragons, armor reduced by 1. Ancient neutrals now behave like normal neutrals and split experience with all heroes in the AoE. So I would say this is a pretty significant nerf to heroes that rely on killing ancient stacks. I think the ones that come to mind are heroes that you will play with Magnus with an Empower, TA and Gyro. because you could have a hero like Bounty, Riki, just an Invis rune, or just being a really sticky player, you can steal a lot of experience. Added a new ability to Ancient Black Dragon Fireball. Targets an area and hurls a fire blast towards it, igniting the 300 AoE for 10 seconds. That's a pretty fucked up spell. That's 850 damage. I wonder when it uses this, but that's actually pretty good for... I'm looking at some of these changes for Chen buff, because Chen can take this creep. I mean, it's only 300 AoE, but it's pretty decent. Ancient Thunderhide Frenzy is now unit targetable. I'm not sure what that is. Creep aura increased. Cooldown decreased. Aura increased. Distance increased, speed reduced. Damage increased. Attack range decreased. Attack damage increased. Roshan's base armor increased by 1. Roshan's base attack time increased from 1 to 2. Roshan now has 100 bonus attack speed. He still attacks at the same rate, but is affected less by negative attack speed. So spells like Sigil and Shivas, and I don't know if there's any other negative attack speed spells. There are indeed. Lich, CM. Added a patrol command. Alright. You're now able to bring up the targeting cursor when silenced, and instead get the arrow upon targeting rather than clicking the button. Because I think when you were silenced before, you couldn't even press Q. I think that's what they mean. Single target with AoE effects now have a new targeting in the UI. I'm not sure. I don't quite understand. Let me see. Oh, they have a new targeting. Okay. Ranked all pick initial pre-picking time reduced from 50 to 5. That's okay. Towers no longer have a very minor experience bounty. Yeah, somehow towers gave you bounty. Simplifies some minor damages and armor types. Yeah, we're not actually gonna go through that. Terrain. I think instead of talking through all of this, you guys will have to see it yourself. Basically, from what I understood, they're trying to balance out the map more to make it more even in terms of that the map, like the two sides aren't too different from one another. They added creep camps next to the secret shops that I'm not sure if you can pull them to the lane, but I feel like that opens up gameplay. That opens up gameplay for heroes like Enchantress, Chen in the off lane, or like it's also another creep camp to stack and farm. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Also Mirana offlane. We'll talk about that after, just to see what can actually happen. But for now, let's start with the actual hero changes of the patch. Alright, watch maybe like 6 hours of our patch analysis, and now Kiss is doing his now. Sorry mate. You can hook them into lane. Alright. But can you pull them straight up though? Like you eat the creep camp. Just to spoil a change, as far as I heard, Mirana instantly kills a creep with arrow. So offlaning Mirana might actually not be that bad. You know why? Because they buffed their range, etc. And now you have your own creep camp next to the lane. Let's say you get zoned, you just run there and throw your arrow. You can probably even throw your arrow while you run there, kill it real quick, go back to your lane and not even lose any experience. But okay, let's go to Alchemist. Grievous Creep Bounty will multiply rescale from 5 to 3, 4, from 5 to 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you have a early game nerf with a same outcome level 3 and a better outcome on the max level. I think this is a really good change because I feel like the value point just gave you too much. Like getting 500 gold from a bounty rune. This sort of like it just makes Alchemist weaker, which is nice. Like he gets his snowballing effect later than he did before, simply because he gets less gold. I wonder if this will also change a couple skill builds, because right now the most popular build is the Miracle build, where I think you go 1 in Grievous Greed, and you max the acid spray into stun, and you just have one level in this because it's so valuable. But yeah, fixed Grievous Greed, granting full gold during buyback gold penalty phase. It's actually a pretty insane change as well. Bane movement speed reduced from 315 to 310. I mean, this hero is really strong. He also runs really fast. He has really good base stats. So I think a basic nerf to one of the stat lines are good. I think this movement speed is pretty good because I would believe that Bane is one of the fastest heroes in the game, and he really excels at zoning people and chasing people. So this helps a bit, but he still, I don't think this will change much. The players can probably feel it, but I think the hero will just be picked as much because the hero is actually pretty strong. Batrider, base HP regeneration increased from 0.25 to 2. Flame Break mana cost reduced from 140 to 110, 20, 30, 40. I mean, it's a good laning buff. I don't play Batrider so much myself, but it's a decent laning buff. Not sure if it will change much with the hero. It could indeed change something. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I like the change, but I'm not sure if this is what the hero needed. Beastmaster. Wild Access no longer has unit targeting, which means that if you click on a hero, they won't automatically chase the hero, I assume. Call of the Wild cooldown rescale from 40 to 42, 38, 34, 30. So pretty much a buff. On to Beastmaster. Especially, you can have a second boar longer. You can have a second hog longer. I mean, you max the spell anyway. The 2 seconds early on won't really make any difference. But then every level that you have less cooldown on this actually makes a big difference. So I think that's a pretty good change. And I like Beastmaster. Bloodseeker. Bloodrite, the silence, cooldown rescaled. This hero is still absolute garbage. I don't think this will make any difference. Janata movement and attack speed reduction increased from 25 to 25, 27, 29, 31. I don't think this makes any difference. But it's not like it's a okay buff, but I don't think it will make any difference to whether or not the heroes played less, like more or less. Now we look at Brewmaster, Drunken Haze, cooldown reduced from 8 to the same level of 1 and then downscaling 1 per level. Drunken Haze is the spell that makes opposing heroes miss. That is actually a quite significant buff because I think that spell is actually super underrated. I don't know how big the miss chance is on the spell, but I believe it starts with like 45% on level 1 and scales up by 10% per level. And now you have a lower cooldown, which also means later when you get Ags, you would be able to apply it like multiple times during your ulti. Primal Split, dispel magic damage to summons increased from 200 to 500, so you will be better against summons, meaning as you have a high percentage increase of your damage, you have a cooldown decrease. Primal Split's Windwalk cooldown reduced from 7 to 5. So this is some nice buffs. I think Brewmaster is pretty viable as he is. Maybe this will do even more for the hero. Bristleback. Goo, mana cost reduced from 30 to 25. Quill Spray, maximum increase from 400 to 450. That's actually pretty nice. Now added Scepter to Bristleback. Goo is no longer targeted. Instead it applies Goo to all enemies around you in 600 AoE when casted. It sounds kind of strong, but in the end you'll have to farm an Ags. I wonder if this affects people that are actually running in fog, or if it only goes on visible units that are actually close to you. Broodmother. Spawn spiderling damage reduced 5, 10, 15, 20. Alright, I don't think it makes the biggest deal. You mainly kill with your spiderlings as far as I'm concerned, and you just use the Q to kill the creeps, most likely, or get the last hit on a hero. Return damage increased by 0, 3, 6, and 9%. I don't think this is the buff that you need on Centaur or Warrunner, but I mean, a buff is a buff, I guess. People should be happy to take it. Chaos Knight, Reality Rift bonus damage increased by 0, 20, 40, 60 per level. I actually think that's kind of nice. Chaos Knight's been getting buffed like nearly every patch. And I think you combine, like this is one of the spells you max early on with your stun, as far as I'm concerned. So that's pretty nice, because it also costs it's a really little mana cost. I think it's a 50 mana cost spell, which has already a huge effect. And at the same time you can crit off it, so it's actually pretty nice. Chen. Base strength increased from 20 to 23. One second, I need to unban somebody in my stream chat. Penitence mana cost reduced from 100 to 70. Penitence duration increased from 5, 6, 7, 8 to 8 on all levels. I assume Penitence is too slow. Seeing as Chen is buffed, and creeps are buffed, and ancients are getting buffed, and you have a neutral camp, if you wanted to smoke to the offlane, or you want to offlane the Chen entirely, I feel like this hero could be viable. Why didn't you reply to me on Twitter? I may have not seen it yet. I saw a couple people tweeted at me, but I wanted to do this patch analysis first. Clink's agility growth increased from 3 to 3.3. So you get a 0.3 agility increase per level, which is nice. It's actually a buff that isn't all that bad. I just think the metagame doesn't currently allow Clinks to be picked that much, even though I do think the hero is good. Clockwork, strength growth increased from 2.7 to 2.9. Power cogs now spawn in a circle rather than a rectangle. So this means that it's more like Han. You have a circulated power cog spawn. Does that mean you have a higher reach of reaching hero that are ahead or behind you? Because it's a circle, not a rectangle. I would have to see that. That sounds fun. It sounds like the Han version. It sounds like you would have a higher reach of catching people in the cogs. I'm not sure if I'm right. Crystal Maiden. Crystal Nova cooldown reduced from 13 to 12. Arcane level 4 mana rage increased from 2.55, allies itself, to 3 and 6. Don't think this makes a big difference. I like the hero as it is, but I think the hero can only be picked when the other team has a big struggle of cancelling her ulti, freezing field, whatever it's called. And if the aura is actually really good for your other heroes. Dark Seer, base intelligence reduced from 27 to 25, Iron Shell is now purgeable. So -2 int. It's actually more than people think. It does quite a lot. And Iron Shell is now purgeable. I would like to know how often this will come to play, as in where people will purge the Iron Shell. I don't know how many supports have purging abilities where they can purge off the Iron Shell. Whether they are picked because, like, if you man up with a Dark Seer right now with like a dual lane, a Spirit Breaker Dark Seer, and then you pick the Oracle is available now, and I think she can purge, which means she could easily be like a counter to Dark Seer off lanes. So yeah, we'll have to see. This is it could actually be a really significant nerf. I'm not sure if it is, but we'll have to see. Dazzle, poison touch mana cost reduced from 100 to 70. That's actually pretty gay because it's a decent zoning spell, but most people don't get it. Maybe they will now. Oracle, Invoker, Tornado, Doom, Oracle, Brewmaster, Dominate, Enchantress Chen. Alright, that's actually could be a big deal. Shallow Grave cast point increase from 0.3 to 0.35. I don't know how much that does because I have never felt a cast point increase in Dota myself. Shallow Grave. Mana cost increased from 140. Instead of scaling down by 10, it just goes up by 10, 20, 30, 40. Which is decent. Weave no longer provides 800 flying vision, now provides ground vision for the AoE of the ability for 3 seconds. That is actually quite a big deal, because I think the vision of Weave was actually pretty strong. We'll be playing the test client of 6.85. I started the download for the 6.86 client. It was gonna take me way too long. I will not be able to play on the test client. I am sorry. I will be playing 6.85 today. Death Prophet. A new spell that creates a link which drains max HP and slows, lasts 4 seconds, breaks after 300. Could be strong, but this means you don't have your E, meaning you lose movement speed, you lose mana cost, and you lose spirits. But never mind, because you gain base movement speed. That's pretty nice. This goes down. Also, all the spells you lost, all these spells you lost in terms of removing the passive were given to you anyhow, apart everything but the reduced mana cost. Oh well, it's gonna be a new spell. You will probably have to test this in game rather than have me talk about it. Doom has a level of death rework. It's a passive / autocast attack ability. It mini stuns for 0.3 seconds. Applies a 4-second burn that deals 40 base damage plus a percentage basis magic damage. Does it deal 5% max HP over the 4 seconds, or does it deal 5% max HP for every second of those 4? We will have to see. Base attack time increased. Scorched Earth nerf, that's nice. Nerfed, nice. Increased, also nice. Dragon Knight. Dragon Blood HP region increased from 2345 to 36912. This is actually really significant. That is actually like super strong. Elder Dragon Form Frost AoE increased from 250 to 300. Alright, that's some pretty significant boss. Added Scepter to Drow Ranger. Marksmanship now causes her attacks to splinter on the target and split into 2 arrows, affecting 2 random units in a 375 radius. The splintered arrows deal 50% damage each. Primary target still takes full damage. The split arrows act as normal attacks, carrying all attack modifiers. It's sort of like a cleave for a ranged hero with an Aghanim's that carries attack modifiers. Does that mean you have 3 times the chance to proc a Mjolnir if you would buy it? I'm sure you can proc crit. I'm not sure about the Mjolnir. Offlane DK could probably be viable. You get a lot of regen. I would assume that many DKs at level 3 will now skill level 2 in this spell actually. And perhaps give up 1 level in their Flame Breath or Dragon Breath, whatever the spell is called. Earth Spirit. Enabled Earth Spirit in Captain's Mode. Intelligence growth reduced from 2.4 to 2.1. Boulder Smash stun area reduced from 200 to 160. Geomagnetic Grip can now only pull allied heroes when using Scepter. That seemed like the best part of the hero was the stun being crazy. I mean, all of his spells are good, but I think the best parts about him was 1, he could pull his allies out of danger. Then his stun and his ult. His ult just spreads cancer. His stun actually has a way higher AoE and way higher range than you think. And you can pull allies. Now you can't pull allies, and the stun AoE is reduced. This is actually a really big deal. I feel like this breaks the hero. Yeah, I'm not sure what I think about this. I think this might be a nerf too strong, but then again, I guess it's hard to balance the spell. But alright. Elder Titan, Earth Splitter damage rescale from 35 to 30, 40, 50. Mana cost rescaled. Earth Splitter's physical damage component is no longer reduced by damage block. Yeah, I think it's a nice buff, but I'm not sure if we'll do enough. I like the hero itself, so I will definitely be trying it, but we'll have to see. Ember Spirit, Fire Remnants no longer give vision. I think this is a pretty good change. Sometimes when you set up a gang on his Remnant, you can, because it gives you vision around it. And it's also a really good vision tool for like Roche, or just scouting things out, or making sure you're safe when you go back to your Remnant. So that is pretty nice. I think it's a good nerf. It actually might not seem like that much, but it actually has quite a difference, I think. Hero will still be the same, but it's a decent nerf. And enchant cooldown reduced from, right, say level 1, then it goes down by 1, 2, and 3. It's not the biggest deal, but it's nice. Eidolon movement speed increased. So you have faster Eidolons, you have a higher dealing damage stun, 20 level 1, 40 level 2, 60 level 3, and 80 level 4. Black hole cooldown reduced by same amount, 10 seconds and 20 seconds. So, holy shit, I was gonna call it by the Han name. You'll have a nicer feel of playing Enigma. The stun will deal more damage, the Eidolons will move faster, and there's less time to punish Black Hole. Not the biggest change, it's just some quality of life changes. I think the stun is actually pretty fucking sick now. And Eidolons too, so I wonder if this will be the reason why Enigma will see some play. Faceless Void has a new spell, Time Dilation, if that's how you pronounce it. Applies a debuff to all nearby enemies, 650 AoE for 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds. Causes time to be frozen on all enemy abilities, causing their cooldowns to make no progress while they have this debuff. Slows movement and attack speeds by 4, 6, 8, 10% for each locked ability. This is actually a retarded spell, because that means you freeze people's abilities in a team fight. Because that is actually retarded. You slow people, like, imagine this hero against low cooldown heroes. You play this versus Bristleback, he is fucked. You play this versus Zeus, he is sort of screwed. You play this versus strength initiators such as Slada or Sand King, and all of a sudden they don't get 2 stuns off and they're slowed. You have to time it well. You may have to, but like, this is actually, it's a really interesting spell, locking cooldowns. But I think this is a spell that very quickly gets out of hand. This is a spell that very quickly breaks the game, actually. This can just be a teamfight winner spell, and it's not even an ultimate. So, Time Walk no longer slows units. Time Walk now undoes any damage taken in the last seconds. So if you take damage from 100% to 1%, and then you time walk, and all the damage was given to you in the last 2 seconds, and you time walk, you now will be full health after your time walk? Is that what's happening? Time walk cooldown rescaled. It's higher level 1, higher level 2, lower level 3, and significantly lower level 4. Time walk mana cost reduced from 90 to 40. Okay. Time walk range reduced from 700, 900, 1100, 1300 to 550. So you reduce the range, you reduce the cooldown, you reduce the mana cost, and you reduce the cast point. This seems like Void will be really played like a sort of utility hero. This is actually pretty strong. I like these changes, but I think this is actually pretty retarded. This actually seems overpowered, but we'll have to wait and see until the hero hits the game, of course. Gyrocopter, cooldown's first burst damage reduced by 30, 15, and nothing. I think this is a very insignificant change. We'll still see Gyrocopter as long as people are fighting as much as they are right now. The hero is a very safe pick, a very easy to execute pick, has teamfight, has late game, you don't really lack anything. He sucks against heroes that can just run at you, and later on don't care that you deal magical damage. Huskar. Berserker's Blood bonuses are provided linearly from full until 10 HP. And from full until 10% HP rather than stepwise at 7%. I don't understand what this means, I'm sorry. Berserker's Blood magic, maximum magic resistance reduced from 42, 56, 70, 84 to 20, 30, 40, 50. Alright. Huskar, rip in pepperonis. This hero is absolute fucking garbage. Unless you pair this hero up with a Dazzle or heals, I don't see this hero doing anything. Huskar is actually just a game loser now, I think. It's a damage nerf. Interesting. Invoker. Now starts with Invoke level 1 at the beginning of the game. Now, what does this do? He is actually useful level 1 at runes. You can have an EMP, which is most likely the best spell to have at a rune, in terms of Invoker. Sunstrike can be okay. Cold Staff can be okay. What does this mean? Other than that, it means that you get your main spells a level earlier. Why? Because you have Invoke level 1. This means that at level 2 you can have 2 spells, where before you would have 2 spells level 3. Because this means you have Invoke level 1, and let's say you are a Wex Invoker, you will have Quasi and Wex at level 2, meaning you have Cold Snap and EMP level 2, you can have Ghostwalk at level 2, you can have Tornado at level 2, you can have Alacrity at level 2, you can have Forge Spirits at level 2. This could potentially mean that it gives this hero more versatility. I feel like I like it offlane. I don't think it will be ran much more offlane in comp. It could be, seeing as you have defensive spells now at level 2, or very aggressive spells at level 2, such as Forge Spirits and Alacrity. Invoke now has the standard 6, 11, 16 leveling. This also means that you have your level 4 ulti at 1 level earlier. Instead of 17, you can have it at 16. At the same time, level 25 Invoker. He is now missing an ability level, of course, because you're getting Invoke level 1 without having to skill it. He gets an attitude bonus ability that grants 6 to all stats. So, it means that Invoker is better level 1, gets his spells 1 level earlier, gets his ulti 1 level earlier, max level, which will make a difference with Aghanim's. And later on in the game, once he hits level 25, he will also have a bonus 6 to all stats. That is actually pretty strong. I like this buff. I think Invoker's already a strong hero. I think this will just make him be picked that much more. And I'm glad this hero gets buffed, because I feel like he's one of the most fun heroes and most skill kept heroes in the game. Anyhow, Jakiro, base damage increased by 7. Ice Rock does this base damage increase by high number thing, which is pretty strong. I mean, 7 damage can really help you at dishing up more damage, zoning people, what have you. Keep off the light. Chakra Magic cooldown reduction. So this means when you give Chakra Magic to a guy, his next spell will be that much lower cooldown, I believe. Chakra Magic buff duration increased from 12 to 15. Chakra Magic now restores and increases mana capacity by 75, 150, 225, 300. This means that you don't only get the, you don't just get the bonus mana, it actually increases your mana pool. Which would mean that a hero like Storm Spirit could be very good. Heroes that have mana problems could be very good with this hero, like a hero such as Bristleback. Because not only, let's say you play Bristleback and you have Chakra Magic level 3, whatever, let's be logical and how it could be. It increases its mana pool by 225. Let's say he uses 225 mana during the 15 seconds of the buff. Now the buff wears off. Let's say he had full mana when he got Chakra Magic. Now he gets Chakra Magic, meaning his mana pool gets increased by 225. Now he uses 225 mana and the buff goes away. Is he gonna be at full mana? Because practically he lost no mana. That would be the question. Added Scepter to Kunkka. I'm not gonna read it. We will have to check that ourselves when the patch hits. Torrent gives your team vision over target area immediately upon cast, rather than when just triggering. Oh, that's a good buff. Typing is now an auto cast ability. will only trigger if turned on or cast directly on the target. That is actually good. You don't always push the lane now. Damage increased by 5 per level. AoE decreased. Level 1. Same level 2. And increase level 2. Increase level 3. Nothing level 4. Ghost Ship mana cost reduced. Alright, some nice buffs for Kunkka. So it does work like that. With the Kodo. That's actually pretty strong with the Kodo stuff. Legion Commander, Moment of Courage. Cooldown reduced by 0.1 per level. I don't actually think this will make any difference. Well, barely any difference. It's 0.1 per level. Legion Commander Scepter now makes you and your target immune. Oh, you and your target immune to all damage unless the source is between the dual participants. Legion Commander Scepter duration is now 4.75, 5.5, 6.25. I could see a Legion Commander Scepter be very core as a third or fourth item, or as any item if you have a good game with some damage. I think Blade Mail is now so this means both you and the guy that are dueled cannot take damage from anything but you guys in the duel. Which means the only thing that can save him is you getting stunned or him getting like healed. Or solar crested, whatever. I like this change. I think it's good. I feel like this change is garbage. A 0.1 change. Maybe it does more than I think it does. And yeah, I like this LC scepter. We'll definitely have to play around with it. Lifestealer. Rage attack speed bonus increased by 20, 15, 10, and nothing. Feast damage and Lifestealer increased by 0.5 per level. Infest cooldown reduced. Same level 1, 25, minus 50. This is some nice buffs for Lifestealer. I don't know why he's not picked. I can't give you enough insight on that. I just think there's a lot of fighting. He's very single target based at the moment. Earthspike mana cost reduced. Same, minus 5, minus 10. Earthspike duration increased by 0.8, 0.8, 0.8. Oh. 0.08, 0.08, 0.08. Mana drain reduced cooldown by 4, 3, 2, and 1. Some nice changes. Lone Druid, temporarily removed from Captain's mode. Replace synergy with a new ability for Lone Druid, Savage Roar. Show details, Savage Roar. Causes enemy in a free 25 AoE around you or your bear to run away with 20% movement speed bonus for 1.2, 1.62, 2.4 seconds towards their fountain. Note it says around you or your bear. So let's say you stand at one spot at the tower and your bear is away, perfect distance. Could that mean you could possibly cover 650 AoE with this spell? Because both it applies both around you and your bear. And it makes them run towards the fountain. So this is like a really good defensive spell that Lone Druid has. They are two different abilities. Both you and your bear have it. But isn't what I'm saying right? Like, if there's people around your bear and there's people around you, both the people... Oh. You can either use it... So you can either use it on yourself or you can use it on your bear. Is that correct? You can only use it on your bear or on your hero. I believe that's what it is. An entangled hero will not be able to move still. Spirit Bear also has this ability, but the cooldown is shared. I never read this. Alright. That makes sense. Spirit Bearer attack damage increased from 33 to 35, 45, 55, 65. Spirit Bearer movement speed increased from 320. Same 10, 10, 10 bonus. Rapid duration increased from 10 to 18, 22, 26, 30. Rapid movement speed increased from 5, 10, 15, 20 to 10, 15, 20, 25. True form health bonus increased from 250, 400, 600 to 300, 600, 900. So this means, yeah, Lone Druid did lose a spell in Synergy, but he gained a new spell in Savage Roar. Not only did he get a new spell called Savage Roar, which is really good, he also has the old spell, which is now built into his Q spell and his W spell, which means he didn't only get a new spell, his other spells also got buffed. Because now you may not even want to, you can maybe get a value point in this spell, or two, and now you can get like Q and W. This hero got significantly buffed. I think this is really strong. I would I guess I would like if the ulti level 1 got more than a 50 HP buff. Like 350, 600, 900 would be nice. I really like this change. I would like to see the spell in usage, how it looks. Luna, turn rate increased from 0.4 to 0.6. Eclipse Scepter Beam interval reduced from 0.6 to 0.3. So it deals damage faster, but the turn rate increase, I don't completely understand why that was a thing. Lycan Wolves and Shapeshift no longer grant critical strike. Lycan Wolves now gain Cripple at level 2, granting a 20% chance to cripple the target, causing it to take 8 damage per second and lose 40 attack speed for 4 seconds. This means they farm slower because they have no strike, but you farm safer because the creeps you attack deal less damage because they lose attack speed. Shapeshift now grants all units under your control a 40% chance for 1.4, 1.6, 1.8 critical strike. Interesting. I feel like this is a jungling bot. You lose. I don't know if I like this. I feel like you will farm slower but safer. And now Shapeshift grants crit to your necro units, but you're not gonna have crit yourself, right? All units under your control. I guess that doesn't include you. It means wait, Luna gets double the beams? Doesn't she have a set amount of beams, or does it just beam until the duration is over? Magnus, Apted Scepter to Magnus. Changes Empower to be an ally hero aura. Affects ranged heroes for half values and causes them to deal splash damage around the target in 200 AoE. Can still be cast on units but does not stack. So decent. Actually makes range carries. It does include yourself. Alright. Skewer distance increased. So now you can keep Skewer at level 1. Pretty much. Skewer slow reduced. Skewer slow duration increased. These are some nice Magnus buffs. Mystics no longer increased mana super jump. I don't know how much she did, so I can't tell you what this does. Double damage no longer affects all meeple units. I think this is good. That was kind of retarded. Attack range from Mirana increased by 30. Starstone radius increased by 25. Sacred Arrow now instantly kills the first unit it hits if it's a non-ancient creep. Jungling Mirana, roaming Mirana, offlane Mirana could be much more popular. Bonus attack range. You can instantly kill a big neutral creep with an arrow, as far as I'm concerned. which allows you to get levels in roam. Adaptive strike base damage increased. That's good. 50 level 1. Mana cost scales down. Morph rate increased. Mainly at level 3 and 4. Morph now shifts in intervals of 1 rather than 2. Oh, this is just how smooth it is. And then the axe cooldown is lower. Alright. Base intelligence increased from 18 plus 1.95 to 21 plus 2. This is okay. You get some bonus in. Base intelligence increased by 4. Treant damage increased by 4, which means that the bigger treants have damage increased by 12. That's actually a pretty nice buff. It's 4 damage, more mana pool, more damage on treants, which is more faster farming speed, more harass, more denying, and more ratting. Necrophos base armor increased by 1. I think he has 2. He should now have 3 base armor. Void Slow at Night reduced from 4 to 253, 354. Not sure why they nerfed Night Stalker. Maybe they think he just did too much. This doesn't affect it that much because pretty much you will never have a level 1 slow at the first nighttime. Most likely this one. Like most likely you will feel a 1/2 second and same reduction in the slow. Nyx Assassin, Nyx Impale duration increased. It's actually a good spell on level 1 now. 1.6 second stun. (1.622428). That's pretty strong. Spike Carapace cooldown reduced by 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. This is actually pretty big because you need to remember, not only does it have 10 second cooldown, it has like a 2.3 second uptime. So it only has like a downtime of 7.5 seconds. I don't know how long exactly it lasts. Base health regen increased by 1. Makes it even more of a trader. Like being able to trade. Enabled Oracle in Captain's mode. I have no idea how this hero works, so I cannot tell you much, but I can read it. I believe this is the disarm. The cooldown is reduced. The cooldown is rescaled. The duration is reduced. The cast range is rescaled. Mana cost is reduced. No, the Q spell, I believe this is Q spell, is reduced. If you cast it on your allies, this means you can purge. Exactly. False Promise no longer continuously dispels after the dealer should cast. That is the ultimate, which didn't allow you to stun or slow the target who was ultied, but now you can. Increased by 1 second. Cooldown rescaled to be longer, same, and less. And mana cost reduced. Oracle is a strong hero. Reworked how Astral Imprisonment works. Astral Imprisonment now deals damage to enemies in an area around the target when it ends. The target itself will also take damage if it is an enemy. Deals 75, 150, 225, 300 magic damage. Affects a 400 area. You are only hurt once by this AoE Scepter. No longer steals intelligence can now be targeted on creeps. Astral Imprison cooldown rescaled to be longer, same, less. Astral Imprisonment cast range rescale to be less, same, more, and more. Astral Imprisonment duration increased to be 4 at all levels instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. Essence Aura AoE reduced from 1000 to the standard 900 Aura radius, which should be the E-spell. Arcane Orb now steals 0, 1, 2, 3 intelligence per hit for 40 seconds. Every time you hit a hero, you steal their intelligence. So basically this is a ranged essence shift for intelligence. Outworld Devourer intelligence growth reduced from 3.3 to 2.7. This all in all seems pretty good and pretty cancer. I don't like OD as a hero. Phantom Assassin gets a bonus base intelligence. And wow, she had a 1 int gain. Now it's a 1.4 int gain. That's actually a nice buff, but I think the hero sucks ass. Sunray turn rate increased. Why would she do that? Supernova damage per second increased. Insignificant. Not enough. Illusory Orb mana cost reduced from 150 to 80, 100, 120, 140. Illusory Orb cooldown increased from 11 to scale down from 40 to 11. Warning Rift cooldown reduced from 16 to go down per level. Warning Rift no longer only silences heroes. So it didn't silence creeps before. Mana cost reduce is nice, but the orb is still fucking slow and deals minimal damage. But it's nice. Illusory orb cooldown increase. Okay. Warning Rift cooldown. That's nice. This is pretty good. The downtime on the silence, because it's actually a fairly strong silence. Pudge rework scepter reduces cooldown of meat hook to 4 seconds and increases damage from 360 to 475. No longer grants previous scepter bonuses. I guess Pudge will be like a hooking machine now. This member deals 75, 175, 170, 125, 175 damage to 60, 90, 120, 60, 90, 120 plus 30, 40, 50% of strength. This member now heals you for the damage it does. So I feel like it's pretty much the same in early game, but then it just scales more up and up for every strength you get. 6k, you will 6.4k. Yes, exactly. I lost rating. The Grapify no longer slows allies. Good buff. Scream of Pain damage reduced by 10, 15. Oh, 10, 15. Same. Sonic Wave travel speed reduced from 1100 to 900. Does it still travel the same distance? Or does it travel less distance? Or does it travel the same distance but slower, or less distance and slower? Riki Maru, I am not gonna read, this is too much rework. I am sorry. You will have to see that when it happens. Fate Bolt, attack damage reduction. So he's gonna get better at zoning, and he's gonna actually have a better impact in teamfights now as he reduces people's damage. Pretty sure same distance, just slower. Alright. Sand King, rework Scepter on Sand King. Doubles Burrow Strike cast range and applies Caustic Finale poison to heroes. So if I get this right, you will have a double cast range on the stun, and everyone you hit gets Caustic Finale on them. That is actually a pretty significant buff. Base strength increased by 3. That's also a really nice buff. Caustic Finale slow increased from 25 to 30%. This is actually really strong, because not only do you stun them, you also slow them in the end, and they take an AoE damage tool from Caustic Finale. Shadow Demon. Oh, you actually have a really long time on those illusions now. Shadow Fiend. Added Scepter to Shadow Fiend. This can't be good. Requiem of Souls waves now return back to Shadow Fiend, dealing 40% damage on the way back. All of the damage the Requiem does to heroes on its way back heals you. So it's pretty much a trollolol, I buy Yules and kill you because now I deal more damage. Or it's a trollololol, I buy Ags on Shadow Fiend and heal myself. Base armor reduced by 1, Shadow Race mana cost increased from 75 to 90. I like this. This will actually do a fuck ton of change. Okay, since you all wanna see it. Permanent invisibility to include backstab. Riki grants bonus damage attacking from behind. So it's 2 spells in 1 now. Blink Strike back to basic ability. You have no more charges, but it's cooldown based. Added a new ultimate for Riki, Tricks of the Trade. Riki phases out of the world for up to 3, 4, 5 seconds, attacking every enemy from behind in a 450 area around him. He attacks once when phasing out and then once per second while being phased out. So you hit them 4, 5, 6 times if I get this correct. So you attack once when you use it, and then you hit them for 3 seconds, 4, 5 seconds from behind. I assume you can proc items, so it would seem fairly strong. But at the same time, your strength gain is reduced, your agility gain is reduced, your armor is reduced, and smoke no longer slows turn rates. Yeah. At the same time, SF also got fucked. By the stacking. Shackles once again got buffed in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level. Mass weapon was required 2 hits to destroy, which means it's a early game nerf and a late game buff, because late game most people one-shot them. Replace Curse with the side with a new ability, Arcane Curse. Targets an area, causes enemies to take damage over time. Anytime they cast a spell, the duration of the debuff is increased. If an enemy affected by this debuff is silenced, the debuff will pause. No damage and no time elapses. Duration 7 seconds, stacking duration 4 seconds. It's an interesting spell. Glaives of Wisdom is no longer an attack modifier, so you can buy Lifestealer now. Concussive Shot mana cost reduced. This is worthless. This is not the buff Skywrath mage needed. Skywrath sucks because of 4 staves, the way the metagame is, and Glimmer Cape. And I don't think there's enough heroes drafted that he shines against. Amplified damage now only reveals the target rather than the area around it, so this is like the track nerf, which I never understood why it gave that much vision in the first place. Electric Vortex mana cost reduced from 100, 110, 120, 130 to 85. I don't think this will do anything. I wonder if people would ever max a W to abuse this, or get a value point in it because it's less mana cost, but I doubt it. Sven, base damage increased by 4. God's Strength Scepter Aura bonus damage increased from 25 bonus % per level. I like this a lot because I think you can play this. I think you can play this as a utility hero and then give a lot of damage to your teammates. Refraction is now always visible. I assume it's visible to your opponents. Does it mean they see the shield, or they can click on you and see how many active and defensive refraction charges you have? That is my question. Terrorblade enabled in Captain's mode. I think that hero is really strong. I think Terrorblade will get picked. Added Scepter to Tidehunter. Causes Gush to become a ground target wave ability that travels for 1800 range. They see the shield and they see how many charges you have. Holy shit, that's a big nerf. Causes Gush to become a ground target wave ability. That sounds fucking OP as a wave clear, but it's a Scepter. Anchor Smash, cast time reduced. You get... they're reworking the shitty numbers. Timbersaw, Whirling Death debuff duration increased from 7 to 11. I think the cooldown is 8, so that's pretty strong. Whirling Death mana cost decreased from 70, 80, 90, 100 to 70. Hero has mana problems. This will help. Reactive armor duration rescaled. 2 less, same, 2 plus, plus 4. That's pretty nice buffs. Tinker buff, dislike. Craggy now triggers on attacks landing rather than starting attacks. So you can't fuck up with Survey anymore. Tree and Protector buff. Decreased mana cost. Increased AoE on ulti. Scepter overgrowth damage and vision increased. Scepter overgrowth damage and vision AoE increased. Scepter overgrowth damage. Oh, the AoE of vision and damage is increased. Okay. Troll Warlord reduced. I think this is the attack speed buff. You get higher stacks but less attack speed. So in the end, like in the end, you'll have higher attack speed if you get to hit them multiple times. Ranged whirling access cooldown reduced. Task movement speed -5. Shards -10, 20, 30, 40 damage. Snowball can no longer pull units out of Black Hole or Chronosphere. Snowball gather radius reduced from 400 to 350. The hero will still be played the same way. You will be able to slightly feel the 50 radius and the 10, 20, 30, 40 damage. But I actually think this is not... I like this change. They're not destroying the Tusk, but I would have actually changed one more thing. I mean, they changed like 3 things already. It's a pretty good nerf, but I think Tusk is still a crazy hero. Tombstone damage reduced by 2. Tombstone bounty increased. Holy shit! This is a big deal. 50? 50? Yeah, 50 gold per level. That's a big change. Like, a level 4 Tombstone is a fucking creep wave now. Scepter added to Ursa. Allows you to cast your ultimate while disabled and reduces cooldown. So if you buy this, pretty much, you would be really hard to kill. Because you can just pop your ult. And you potentially can get 2 of them off in a team fight. And it's no longer purgeable. I didn't even know you can purge that spell. Can you watch Noob from UA Pudge video? No, because currently I'm making my own. Maybe after. Vengeful Spirit. Added Scepter bonus to Vengeful Spirit. Causes you to spawn a Vengeance Illusion when you die. The Vengeance Illusion deals 50% damage, takes 150% damage, and is able to use all of your abilities, but not items. The Vengeance Illusion lasts until you revive. Or until the illusion dies, I assume. It still grants the previous bonuses. I feel like this will be core on Vengeful Spirit. Because you can swap a teammate in, you can swap an opponent with an illusion. You can swap a teammate out with an illusion. You can stun with an illusion while giving the opposing team minus damage because you died. You still give your own team bonus damage with your abilities. You can deal damage. This is actually like, this should be core on a Venge carry as like a 3rd or 4th or 5th item. Venomous Scale cooldown reduced. This is pretty nice. Visage 10 AoE, not enough, but it's nice. Base strength increased by 4. Shadow Word duration increased by 1. Base damage increased by 3. The Swarm Beetle's base attack time improved. I mean, this is nice, but I don't think this will do much. Weaver is not a good carry at the moment. Shackle Shot is now disjointable. Does that mean it doesn't follow you when you blink? Or do you need to just... It was disjointable with Manta anyway. But does it mean this doesn't follow your blinks? I'm not sure. Shackle Shot speed increased. Why are you increasing Shackle Shot speed? Shackle Shot angle reduced from 26 degrees to 23. I would like to see how much difference that makes. Power Shot speed no longer... Wait, Power Shot speed... Power Shot speed got less as you shot it through people? You can stun, swap, die. Stun, swap. If Manta doesn't disjoint it, what did Manta do then? You don't get hit by it. It just makes you okay, you just got invulnerable, you didn't disjoint it. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So now it doesn't follow, okay. Temporarily removed from Captain's Mode. Cold Embrace cooldown increase. RTP and slow reduced. Winter's Curse primary and secondary units are now immune to all damage from their enemies. Winter's Curse secondary units are at 50 attack speed bonus. So pretty much it's more of a kill the hero you use it on. Like, you will have the enemy team kill the hero you use it on, and at the same time, like, you will either use it so they kill the hero, or to disable all of the heroes, or to set up like a big spell, because they're all gonna be cursed for this long. But they're immune until then, so you wanna time it until it's over, and they will kill the guy faster that gets cursed initially. Power Shot speed no longer decreases, not damage. Witch Doctor, Maledict banner cost reduced, Maledict cast range. Alright, Vampiric Aura cannot be toggled off. Okay, I like this. Oh, let me drink another sip. New consumable item, Fairy Fire. It costs 75 gold, it gives you 2 damage, and when you use it you restore 75 HP. I dislike this item very much. The set when he spawns an iron... Oh my god. I'm unbanning you, Pyre. Oh, I don't know why you would do this item. Maybe they felt the need, since you have Mango, that you need this, but this is just so stupid. I think this is retarded, but okay. You have an item that you use and it's basically, it restores your health. It's like a charged up magic wand. Okay. Dragonlance. You build it with an ogre club and a quarterstaff. It gives you the same, it gives you both of the item stats, just like they are, and a bonus 130 attack range. At the same time, it can be disassembled. Let's say you build Orchid BKB, you will most likely go for this item. Let's say you build Butterfly BKB, you can most likely do this. It's an interesting item, and you can still disassemble it. First one, Etherland, so however you pronounce it. It's an energy booster, a ring of health, and a cloak. It provides you with mana, HP regen, magic resistance from cloak, 200 cast range on your spells, and 8% bonus spell damage. Cast range improvement affects targeted spells and distance related spells such as Venomous Gale. I assume it also affects spells such as Clockwork Hook and Pudge Hook. It does not affect AoE abilities because they will not travel further. That is correct. Iron Talon. Quelling Blade. Ring of Protection. Recipe. Provides 2 armor. Bonuses of Quelling Blade lets you target non-player enemy units to remove 40% of their current HP. So, this is a aggressive Ring of Basilius that it's a Quelling Blade with a better upgrade, which is a poor man's jungle item. Why I dislike this item? I dislike this item. I actually dislike all of the items that they just put in, but we'll have to see when they get played. Item changes. Abyssal Blade. Bash damage increase from 60 to 120. Damage bonus decrease from 85 to 70. You reduce reliable damage, but you increase unreliable damage and RNG. I dislike this change. Courier purchase cooldown increase from 7 seconds to 2 minutes. I cannot believe I played this game for 3 months and then this came out. It took them 3 months to come up with a non-animal courier feeding. Thank you. Animal courier cost decreased. Oh, that's nice. Movement speed reduced by 5 and total cost reduced by 50. So boots are getting cheaper and lose move speed. Assault Cuirass. Attack speed aura bonus. And now affects buildings. Blade may cooldown reduced from 15 to 13. I think this item is already strong. Might get played a bit more now. Cost reduced from 450 to 400. Movement speed reduced by 5. So this means you get boots faster, but you have less move speed. It seems like they're trying to reduce movement speed out of the game. Bottle. Cost reduced. Health regen reduced. Mana per charge reduced. A charge now heals you faster, but it heals less. Added bottle to side job starts with only 1 charge. I could definitely see it picked up if the courier is in use and you just wanna you could buy it right before the rune spawns. What's up, Phoebe? Butterfly, flutter movement speed increased. I like this change because I think you wanna use it quickly. When is the patch out? I'm not sure. I'm telling you, this patch is for offlaners. I'm not sure. I don't think this patch is for offlaners. We'll have to see the lanes. What happens with the lanes. Clarity. I don't understand why they keep doing this. More mana over more time. Magic resistance reduced by 5%. Alright. Crimson Guard. Chances to block from RNG to always block, but less block. I don't know if this is... Should probably a buff on paper. Critical Strike. Lower damage, higher chance. Average damage increased by 1%. Alright. Diffusal Blade agility increased by 5 level 1 and an int increased by 4 level 1. I like this. Diffusal Blade, good item. You cannot use a bottle charge and sell it. As usual, if you use the item, you cannot sell it back for full price. Yeah. Realm of Endurance. Endurance bonus movement speed increased from 10% to 13%. That should... It's the active ability, which means not only did this go more, but at the same time, boots are giving you less move speed. Yasha gives you less move speed. So those 3% are actually a bit more than 3%. Like, it actually makes a difference. E-Blade, mana cost reduced by 50. Flying Courier cost reduced by 20. Glimmer Cape, magic resistance reduced by 5. Hard always gets buffed every patch. It doesn't matter. Dominate now sets the Dominator base move creep to 350. I think it was... That's faster. I think they all run at like 320. Hood of Defiance, now has an active ability. Creates a spell shield on your hero that absorbs up to 325 magical damage. Duration 12, cooldown 60, mana cost 75. Which means Hood is not actually... It's not actually retarded. My dog wants to go outside. We let her go outside. Iron Branch can now be used by targeting the ground, planting a happy little Caporos that lasts 20 seconds, 200 cast range. I assume you can juke with that. I'm not sure why you would do that other than have a tribute to Bob Ross, but... Javelin. Pierce improved from 20% to deal 40 damage to 25% to deal 85 bonus damage. Damage bonuses reduced from 21 to 10. Why are they reducing reliable damage and increasing unreliable damage? This is... Are they trying to make attack speed like more of a thing than damage? Because this buffs attack speed. This passively increases attack speed items. Because you have less, you get less damage. But if you proc, like now you have a higher damage, you have a higher chance to proc it. And like it's a 5% higher chance to proc it and a double damage increase. 85 bonus damage is retarded, and this item has no cooldown. Could see a lot of attack speed items increase. That's actually insane. Lincoln Sphere, cooldown reduced from 60 to 30, damage bonus increased from 10 to 15. Good change, not good enough. Item isn't good, will be picked up eventually against weird stuff. Mantle of Intelligence removed from side shop. Why? Monkey King Bar, this is another one of those changes. Mini Bash proc damage increased from 100 to 160. Damage bonus reduced from 88 to 66. I'm trying to think. Are these actually damage increases? Or is it just the same? Like, on average, this is the same damage, isn't it? Like these changes. You get 60 bonus damage, but you lose 22, and your proc chance is like 35. So I mean, if you're really lucky, you'll make more damage out of this. But on paper, on average, if you do it 1,000 times, it should be about the same. It says the following items are related and changes with bonus damage and proc damage modified. Probably the same as on average, yeah. Necronomicon, recipe cost reduced by 50, which is nice. Necronomicon Archer attack range increased. This is actually really good because Necronomicon is already a good item. On average, NKB is 5 damage more. Observer wards and sentry wards now have an AoE indicator before placing. I assume it will show you visually how much you will see, how much your boards will actually encounter, or how much vision they will give you, how much you can sentry. Experience point increase from 50 to 100. I think this is good. More emphasis on sentry warding, whatever. Octane Core now affects the replenish time of charged abilities. So this means charge-based abilities will replenish faster, such as the new Death Prophet spell. Orb of Venom is no longer an attack modifier. I don't think this makes any difference. Fade's active no longer cancels when casting. Movement speed reduced by 5 and total draw cost reduced by 50. So Fade's boots are once again cheaper. And they don't cancel during casting. This is actually a really nice buff. I think Phase Boots will be picked up a bit more now. And at the same time, Invoker is getting a lot of buffs. Invoker got buffed itself. He is being buffed indirectly here with this one, because you need to often cancel your Phase Boots because you need to switch orbs, you need to invoke a new spell, and all this stuff. Is he getting buffed with any of these items? I think not. I mean, Bottle gets nerfed, but well, I went too far. Power Tread, same shit. Quelling Blade reduced by 25. Ring of Protection reduced by 25. That's actually funny, because this is how much it costs in Hon. Armor bonus, this Ring of Protection is actually exactly the same as in Hon now. Armor reduced from 3 to 2. I think it was too good anyway. In terms of, like 200 gold for 3 armor is actually retarded. Rod of Atos. Cripple cooldown increased from 10 to 12. Cripple now grants units that attack the target 40% accuracy. This means that targets attacking that unit will not miss 40% of the time. So this is an anti-evasion. It's an anti-evasion item. This counters butterflies and solar crests. And Phantom Assassin. It takes away evasion completely. It's a poor man's MKB for your teammates. I like this item. That's actually a really nice change. And I like that they didn't put this on a new item. They put this on an item that's already in the game. I like this. This is really cool. Maim no longer pierces spell immunity. Greater Maim no longer pierces spell immunity. SNY nerf. Satanic duration increased. I don't know why this keeps going up. I feel like this item should have a duration of 3 seconds, but okay. Hex cooldown reduced from 30 to 25. Okay. I actually think Hex should be unpurgeable of Lotus Orb, and that is the buff the item needs. But okay. Silver Edge debuff is no longer dispellable. That's a good buff. Rip Huskar once again. Skull Basher. Bonus increase. Strength bonus increase from 8 to 10. That's nice. Bash damage increased from 60 to 120. Damage reduced from 25 to 10. What is your chance? What is your what is the chance of bashing? 25? Yeah, it's the same on paper once again. Smoke of the Seed, cost reduced from 100 to 50. Alright, I like this change. Not sure if it actually should be 50 because the item is so good that 100 gold is low. Boosted tangles now last for double the duration instead of providing double the healing rate. What are boosted tangles? When you eat wards? Using Tango and Iron Branches trees provides double healing duration. With the exact same damage on average, exactly. Tranquil Boots. I like this. I think they gave too much armor anyway. Also, they have to do it because they removed the Ring of Protection, got cost less and gets less armor. Vanguard gets the same as the Crimson Guard. I think they're trying to nicen up the numbers, and I think this is also a buff on paper. Veil of Discord now requires double Robe of the Magi instead of a 900 recipe. So this means it has a nicer build-up, and it gives plus 12 int now. The item got buffed by 12 intelligence, and the item is already good. This is actually a really strong item now. This should be considered to be picked up a lot more. 12 intelligence is nothing to joke about. Potentially 12 damage, higher mana regen, higher mana pool. Vitality booster added to the side shop. Quality of life change to have a easier vanguard. I read this using Tango on Iron Branch trees provides double healing duration. I read it. Ultimate Orb removed from side shop. I guess we're on now. They did the same in Han. It was actually a awful change. Not being able to buy Ultimate Orb from the side shop was fucking annoying. Yeah, now people will make a force when they've given up. Yeah, people will just buy branches and place them. But I guess it only lasts for 20 seconds, so they can't grieve that much. Additional changes. This seems all pretty stupid and not important. I believe this will be it for my patch analysis from now. Actually, I don't know if I said it. Movement speed bonus reduced from 10% to 8%. Santin, Yasha, and Manta are unchanged. So the casual Yasha is worse now, whereas it makes more sense to upgrade it now because they give more move speed. So overall, movement speed was a bit decreased in terms of boots. At least if you bought Arcanes, Tranquils, Phase, or Treads. The rest was fine. And drums got buffed. Overall, I think the hero that got the biggest buff is probably... I really like Invoker and the Legion Commander rework. What is this? This is gonna be the new creep camp. You can pull it to the lane. So this is how they want to balance out the map. I see. I think Invoker and Lone Druid got a really nice buff. I think people need to watch out for Chen. The hero could be viable now that you can like... I think Chen could be viable now. Many creeps were buffed, and you can take creeps on the offlane. The new Rune will be interesting to be seen in play because it's really strong. Other than that, Legion Commander Ags should be viable many times. We'll see how often the new items will be bought, the cast range and attack range. I kind of dislike those items, but we'll have to see how much they will be picked up overall. And I think that this Venge Agharim's buff is actually really big. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this patch analysis. And if you did, it would be nice if you followed the stream on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. I will go be right back real quick, and I will be uploading this video to YouTube later on.